Hello, my name is Michelle. I'm one of the orthopaedic physios working here in McGalvin. This is just a wee short video to go through a few exercises and a bit of advice for what to be doing after you have a proximal humerus fracture. So a proximal humerus fracture is a fracture to the shoulder, okay? So this long upper bone at the top of your arm is your humerus. So a proximal humerus fracture is classified as any fracture in and around the top of this arm and near the joint, okay? So there is different types of fractures that can occur in and around this region. For example, the greater tuberosity just on the outside and around the head of the humerus or the neck, okay? Now, depending on the degree of the fracture, your consultant will decide whether or not it will be for conservative management, as in a sling, or if it needs to proceed to surgery, okay? Most fractures are treated conservatively, so your consultant at fracture clinic or first fracture clinic will decide how long you need to stay in the sling for. So that usually varies between 3 and 6 weeks, okay? When you're in your sling, it's important to keep your neck moving with wee basic exercises, side to side, over the shoulder, okay? And then chin down your chest and looking up, okay? As well as taking the elbow out of the sling to maintain elbow range of movement, and as well your wrist and hand and doing wee finger pumps, okay? When you're in the sling as well, you do be sore and people tend to kind of hold themselves in this posture, so just making sure that you're keeping the arm nice and relaxed so that you're not causing a lot of muscular tension up and around the neck as well, okay? Sleeping with the sling on is probably easiest lying on your back, propped up with pillows, and probably another wee pillow underneath the arm as well, okay? Initially, after breaking your shoulder, it is natural to have a lot of pain, okay? We do recommend taking regular analgesia, okay? So speak to your GP or pharmacist what's best for you, okay? So paracetamol, codeine, cocodamol, but your GP will decide what's the best for you, okay? We do recommend that you don't take anti-inflammatory medication after having a shoulder fracture because the bone needs that inflammatory process to knit together again, okay? After having a shoulder fracture, you will have quite a lot of bruising and swelling throughout the whole arm, okay? So it is completely natural for your hand to be swollen and bruising to be down the front, back of the arm, referring into the chest region and then around the shoulder blade. If there is a lot of swelling there, you can tie ice or a bag of frozen peas, wrap that in a damp tea towel and put it on the shoulder, okay? Once you're allowed to start moving the arm then, once your consultant has advised you to start some exercises, initially what we would say to start is pendulum movements, okay? So if I take you over here and show you, so I have a fracture to my left arm, okay? So initially just take it out, just let the arm relax, okay? So even walking, just let the arm be nice and free down by your side, again, getting out of that holding, protective posture of the arm, okay? So initially what we would start off with, just letting the sore arm hang down, okay? And just start with these small circular motions, okay? And then you're going to try and get that circle bigger and bigger, like stirring a big pot, okay? And again, you can do that in both directions, so clockwise, anti-clockwise, and then also forward and back, and then also forward and back in this direction as well, okay? So that's the main things to start off with for getting the shoulder moving initially, and again, making sure you're maintaining your elbow movement and you're keeping your neck nice and free, okay? Once you've kind of mastered those pendular exercises, you're happy enough then to move on to a few more advanced exercises. We would start then with some active assistive movements, okay? So what that means, using things like, say, a stick to get your non-injured arm to help move the sore arm, okay? So things like holding the stick like this, so this is my sore arm again, and then, so a walking stick or the shaft of a brush, and you're just going to be doing basic wee movements up and down, okay? Up and down. So if you're very sore initially, 3-5 of these is probably enough, but if you're starting to get a wee bit more comfortable, you're starting to try and build up to about 10 reps, okay? Now, in the early days, we would say not to force into pain, so just going to where you're kind of uncomfortable and feeling a stretch, okay? As well then, holding the stick, we can be going forward. So I'll show you this from the side, so just forward. So again, just up and down where you're kind of comfortable, just starting to go to the point of it's sore. Now initially, if you're only kind of going to here and down, that's okay, alright? As long as you're gaining movements with more and more practice with this, okay? And as well then you can put the stick behind you and doing things like straight out the back like that, okay? It's good to probably take some pain relief about 20-30 minutes before you do your exercises. It'll be most effective for allowing you to get some more movement in the arm. As well then, you might find using the stick for going forward a bit easier in lying. Okay, so just lying on top of the bed, okay, holding the stick again, keeping your elbows straight, and you're just trying to lift forward, up and down. Letting your uninjured arm guide it a little bit further. So up and then down. Okay. Again, just where you're comfortable. And this is good even after a good few weeks, few months. After having a shoulder fracture, you're just starting then to go a bit further and try and get back. So up and then down. Okay. Again, just where you're comfortable. And this is good even after a good few weeks, few months. After having a shoulder fracture, you're just starting then to go a bit further and try and get back some of that movement. Okay? And down. Okay? Another wee one with the stick. So after having a shoulder fracture, it's very hard to get back rotation type movements where you're taking the arm out to the side. Okay? To try and improve that with the stick, again, holding it by your side, keeping your elbow tucked in, and then you're just rotating out and then back in again. So out and back in. And again, with all these exercises, starting 3 to 5 reps is plenty, and then if you find that that's comfortable enough, build up to about 10 reps. Okay, so that's all the exercises with the stick. And as I say, they're called active assisted exercises, where your good arm is helping move your injured arm a wee bit further. Okay, as I said, pain relief prior to your exercises is a good idea. Heat can be quite nice to help with the pain as well, so hot water bottle, wrap that up in a towel or a wee beanie bag, sit it on your sore arm even before or after your exercises can help. Making sure you're careful of your posture, you know, so you're not slouched holding yourself, and up nice and straight, shoulders back, okay, when you're resting, when you're sitting, but also with your exercises, okay. So another good wee exercise to do, okay, is using a shoulder pulley, okay. So these can be bought very easily on eBay or Amazon. It's called a shoulder pulley, okay. It comes with a wee hook that goes over the top of the door, okay. So over the top of the door, easy enough. You can sit or stand, whatever's comfortable, okay. And then you like this. So again, depending on the length of the string, you might need to adjust that, hold it a bit tighter, okay. So again, this arm is my sore arm. So it's an active assisted movement where the other arm's pulling you up. So just up nice and straight like that. Okay. So again, wherever you're comfortable, okay, you don't need to force under pain at this stage, and you should find that this is a nice easy exercise and it helps get back that movement, okay? So it's important to get back as much movement after this fracture to help restore function and get you back to where you need to be. Okay? So that's going forward, that's shoulder flexion. Okay, also out to the side, okay, where you're doing some abduction. So people do find this one a little bit more difficult. So again, nice and easy, just wherever you're comfortable, and then you're building that up. Okay. Nice and easy like that. Okay. So them's kind of the key exercises I would recommend in the early days after shoulder fracture, whenever you're allowed to start moving the arm and you're out of the sling, okay? Sometimes, depending on the degree of the fracture, it can be quite difficult to get back 100% movement in terms of lifting the arm the whole way up alongside the ear, okay? What we're aiming to do is get it above or in and around shoulder height, and that should allow you to reach to your face, reach to the washing line, reach behind your hair, okay? It's very difficult, again, to get any movements with rotation like this arm behind your back, okay? But keep working at it, even just trying to reach the arm behind, get your other arm, tugging it around, okay? Tugging it around. So it's very difficult to get that one back after this type of fracture as well. But as I said, it's very important in the early days to get moving as much as you can to try and restore function and get the best outcome possible, okay? So another key exercise to do in the early days after coming out of the sling is called towel slides, okay? So this is good and it's nice and gentle if you are quite sore. So a towel or a tea towel sitting at the dinner table or using the kitchen worktop, all you're going to do is slide the towel forward and back. So you can see you're getting a wee bit of shoulder movement, alright? So it's nice and gentle. And again, as you're starting to get a wee bit more comfortable with that, you can start stretching a bit further, okay? And then you're also going to be going out to the side, okay? And you can go across this way. So it's a nice and gentle wee one to begin with initially. Once you've mastered that exercise, what we would say then to progress it on a wee bit, you're moving to finger walks at the wall. So what we're doing now, okay, so this is my sore arm, standing close to the wall, and then you're just going to try and walk your fingers up the wall. Alright, so again, just wherever you're comfortable, and then back down again, okay. Same as the other exercise, about 3 to 5 of each initially, and if that's comfortable enough, building up to about 10 of each.